Hi, everybody. Today we're taking a look at the G.I Joe Classified Series number 129, The Mad Marauders Sergeant Slaughter. I am very excited to get a hold of this. I love Sergeant Slaughter. I have the original one down here on my shelf, which we will look at closer later. But this is the new packaging, which we saw on the torch. I still am kind of iffy on it, the style. I don't hate it, but I really miss the classic, very first version of the classified box style. But that's just me. You can see all the accessories in the front here. Choose classified Mad Marauders because they can't say Slaughter's Marauders, I think, anymore. There's a picture of Sarge right here, 129. All the accessories on the back here with a nice product render. All the little banners and such here that still mean nothing really. Rank, punch, weight, doesn't like boxes. Got a nice QR code here, which, again, if you scan it, leads you absolutely nowhere. Leads you to the Hasbro website, which, when you scan this, it typically just leads you to a 404 link. So I don't know why they keep doing this. It's a waste of space and a waste of time. Just write, just send a link to a PNG of the original file card. It's pointless and it upsets me because it's so dumb. I just it's one of the things I hate most about this is just it's the lack of the file cards and the fact that this means absolutely nothing. But I'm excited to take a look at this, so let's open it up. And here we have Sarge out of the packaging, and here he is next to his Santa bag full of goodies, I guess. So I'm just gonna say I have some issues with this figure, which we will get into a little later. But I'm just gonna say that there are some problems here, which we will talk about in a little bit here. But looking at him, I really like the color scheme. This is the Mad Marauders, or the Slaughtered Marauders color scheme, which is the gaudy green and blue, which is accurate to the rest of that little subline that they made back in the 80s. We have some of them out now. I don't have them. There's the barbecue figure as well as the 2-pack of Low Light and Spirit, which maybe I'll get at some point. I don't know. But they look pretty good and accurate to what this should look like. This is how it looks. Excuse me. If you like that, good. If you don't, well, then I guess this really isn't for you because this is very much that. It is a vibrant color, very green, very blue, very colorful, which is very fitting for the 80s, but I get why a lot of people would just prefer to get the original one or wait for another release. Because I'm sure we will get one, another Sergeant Slaughter down the line with the Triple T. I feel like that's almost completely a guarantee. We already have the version, which is the Transformers collaboration that's Cup turning into the Triple T. So I think it's really only a matter of time before we get Sarge's Triple T into the classified line at some point. But I'm just guessing here, but I do think that's going to happen. Now let's take him off the spinny base here, so we can actually get a closer look at Sarge. And much like the first release, you can in fact take the hat and the sunglasses and the whistle off so that you can have him just regular old Sarge, just the way that he came in the packaging, I suppose. Although the one that I got, he had the hat and the sunglasses on. There is a version out there which has him without the sunglasses and the hat on. And I do believe that one is rarer and more valuable. So if you got that one, I'd say keep it in the box and just get a new one because that'll probably go up in price at some point. But this is what he looks like without any of the accessories on him. And it's just the same one that we got a couple years ago. I'll be honest, it is the exact same figure. There's nothing new here. The paint on the paint application of the figure is basically the same from what I can tell. There is obviously you can see on his chest there is an American flag on there. That wasn't on the original one because one was just a straight black. But this is the exact same mold, same arms, legs, torso. Everything is the exact same that came in the original release, which if I grab it real quick is right here. You can see that this is basically the exact same figure, except the new one has, I guess you could say, less camouflage. He is more colorful and more vibrant, although the new one does have more accessories. Although I will say there is a problem, and I will show you what that problem is right now. So this is the new handpiece that they're using for the Sergeant Slaughter figure, the new one, the Slaughter's Marauders one. As you can see, there are these two, if I get a close look, you can see these two little notches on the hand. Apparently those are in there because they found that the old hands slipped out quite a lot. And if I grab the original one right here, you can see that those are in fact not on here. That does make it a problem though, because if you attempt to put the new hand into the old Sergeant Slaughter, It's not gonna fit. It doesn't go in. It straight up doesn't, which I really dislike because the new Sarge comes with a saluting hand, which I think is really cool. And I wish that the first one came with it, but this one comes with a saluting hand, which is very cool. Goes in this hand very well because there's a little notch right here and it's designed to go in there. This one, you can't because the notch, it won't go in. It won't. And if the only way to get it in there would be to either saw the notch off or swap the hands or Dremel a hole in the hand, but you'd have to do so much work to do that. I wish that they had just kept the same ones because I personally never had an issue with the hand slipping out. So you can't have the original Sarge using the saluting hand, which is going to be my plan because I don't really see this new one using that. But I would have my original Sarge with the saluting hand. I would think that would look pretty good. So you can't do that, unfortunately. And I think that's a big problem because I mean I feel like you're just gonna want to swap the pieces in and out. I mean, like, basically everything is the exact same accessory. This is the exact same figure for the most part. However, you can't use or reuse the pieces from the original one or the new one onto the old one or the new one. You can't do that. So there's this barrier that you can't pass, even though it's the exact same figure. They just changed it slightly enough that it kind of screws you. And that really sucks. I do say that really, really sucks. So if you were hoping to use the saluting hand on the old Sarge, you just can't. And that sucks. I will say that is a big disappointment. And speaking of disappointment, Hasbro, we got to talk. We got to have a conversation here because the new Sergeant Slaughter comes with an AK, much like the original one did. The original one came with an AK. However, something went wrong because this one is so soft and gummy. This one, I feel like I'm holding a piece of like super malleable rubber, whereas the original one here, which I grab right here, this is terrible. This is tough. This is hard plastic. You can bend it a little bit, but it's not so easily warpable that it feels like it's just gonna melt in your hands. This one does, and I don't know where they went wrong because it's so warped and like soft, and I don't know what happened because you had it, you nailed it first time around. You good. You don't need to change it anymore. I don't know what happened, and this has been happening a lot with the classified line. All the weapons, all the accessories, everything like that, super soft. Everything feels super like it feels like I could tear it like taffy. I don't know what went wrong or what has changed. They've said they're working on it and discussing it and trying to figure out ways to get around it, but they've been saying it for like a year now. So I don't know. It was a problem with the 16th anniversary figures. It's a problem with the retro figures. It's a problem with this figure. And it's even a problem with the Stinger, which I haven't reviewed yet, but I have it and I've messed with it. And there's problems with that too. So I don't know what went wrong or how they can fix it because they need to fix it because that is a huge problem, especially with the fact that if you've seen, there has been some people have gotten the retro carded Cobra Trooper figures, which I did order. Those weapons are also super soft and they are warped out of the packaging. Everything is super warped instantly, and that is a huge problem because you can't have these guys holding their weapons if their weapons are floppy rubber. You can't do that. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look right, and it feels bad in your hands. It feels like you're playing with a cheap toy. And that sucks, especially when they're $24.99 a piece, and this being $34.99 a piece. So it sucks. It really, really sucks. And it really sucks because this line is so good. Everything else is so good. I love this whole line. It's fantastic. But there's these problems. There's these little problems which you can work around because you have earlier. And I don't know why you just can't now. And I don't know how to fix it. I'm not a toy designer. I'm not familiar with how plastic works. But you guys, you gotta fix this because this is getting out of hand. It's making me not want to buy this stuff anymore. This problem is also included with the hat and sunglasses that he has because these ones are super warped and soft out of the packaging. And they don't sit right and they don't look right. Whereas the original Sarge here, it's very durable, very thick, very, very hard plastic. I've never had a problem with this warping or bending or anything. Like, it sits on there fine. Same thing with his hat. This one, I won't lie, has been a pain to make sit on and stay and look good because it's so warped, and it's like if you look, it's like it's bent to his face. They don't sit like sunglasses. They sit like goggles, and that doesn't look right. That looks all wrong, and it doesn't sit on here properly because you're supposed to put this on, and then the handles of the sunglasses are supposed to go underneath the hat so that way it stays on. But it doesn't want to do that. It doesn't. So it just kind of sits weird and odd. So it doesn't look as good if you take them right here. Like you can tell, like one looks better than the other, and that is a shame because they both should be the exact same, but they're not. So I don't know, Hasbro, get to work, fix on this. I don't know, man. You got to do something because it's not looking good. But the figure itself, again, like I said, looks good, looks great, looks just like how you would want this figure to look, and it feels like how you would want this figure to feel. I actually like the body for this one better than my original one because if you look at my original Sarge here, he's got a real wibbly wobbly torso. This one doesn't. It doesn't do that. It doesn't shake. So it actually sits better, which is a shame because I like the original look more. But this one sits better. And as for the articulation for this guy, up and down the ball, side to side here. There's a dumbbell. There's a hinge up and down on a ball joint, and then a dumbbell joint at the neck, so you can have him look down. Although his neck is real thick, so it makes it real hard to do that. Ab crunch like so, back and forth. This is the same body for the second release of the Roadblock figure. You can see the sunglasses flipping down, like I said. I don't have that figure. Maybe I will someday, but it's the exact same body and everything. There are butterfly joints, which again, classic classified butterfly joints do absolutely nothing, and they don't look good. Swivel here at the ball joint at the shoulder. Swivel here at the bicep, up and down, as you can see. There's a swivel at the wrist. Swivel at the wrist. There's a swivel at the wrist with an up and down hinge on the hands. All the hands are exactly the same on the articulation. None of them are different, but we will look at them shortly. There's a ball joint here at the waist, which allows for a lot of movement, a lot of articulation. Drop down hips, of course. Swivel at the upper thigh. Double jointed pinless knees, which work very good. There's a swivel here at the boot, as you can see right here, like that. Up and down for the foot, and a four-facing pin for rocker. So it means standard Joe articulation that you would get. Feels fine. It's just there's these little things, and they keep messing it up, and I don't know how they keep messing it up because they got it right the first time. But well, I guess we're just waiting to see if they fix it because it's really all we can do. So yeah. Blue articulation. He was supposed to fall over. He didn't fall. Good for you, Sarge. And here are the accessories for Sarge, minus the hands that he was already wearing, the fist hands. But you saw those, that's fine. This guy has a lot of accessories, and I can see why he was so expensive because he has a lot of accessories. Some of them are some of the coolest accessories I've ever seen in a figure in my life. But let's start with the hands here. Like we saw earlier, saluting hand. Makes sense. Sarge himself apparently requested that they do this, that they give him a saluting hand. So it's nice that he has that. He has these two kind of grappling hands, like he's got to reach out and grab you, get you in a cobra clutch or something. And yet those are the same for the original one, and that one just fell into the carpet, which I will never find again, so that's a shame. After that, there are the set of pointer hands, which he has, which makes sense for Sarge. You could have him doing one-finger push-ups or just pointing at the other troops, telling them what to do. Makes sense for a drill sergeant figure like him to have. On the right here, there are the trigger holding hands, which do not go up or down. They go in and out. These are the same ones for the original figure. Basically, all these hands are the exact same ones, except for these two right here. And, this is just makes sense for Sarge since he comes with an AK. A really, really warped AK. Now, this is very cool. He comes with a set of blue boxing gloves, which these are reused from the Big Boa figure, which is a figure I do not have. This is my first exposure with these, which they look very cool. They have these nice bracelet pieces so you can overlay on them so they actually look like he's wearing gloves, and his hands just didn't turn into boxing gloves. They look really good. I like these a lot. I want to get that Big Boa now just because I want to have him box somebody. Now, as for the rest of the accessories, if it was in a little closer, you can see there are quite a few, and some of them are very cool. These are the goggles and the hat, which we saw earlier. The hat is in a darker green color, and the glasses have a blue tint to them. I'm not super big on the blue, but that's fine. It's still Sarge, looks great. There is the whistle here, which is warped, because of course it is, because everything is warped. And doesn't really sit in his neck very well. But you can straighten that out a little bit if you try. But I don't want to bend it too bad. I don't want to break it. But yeah, that's the whistle. It's a silver whistle compared to the gold one that the original one had. Here is his swagger stick, which this is thankfully not warped, and it looks very good. Gold head on the top here, or I guess bronze. The strap, the blue, everything fits very well with the Slaughter's Marauders color scheme. So this is very on brand, and it's necessary for Sarge to have that. as well as these two 90-pound dumbbells, which I guess are 90 on both sides. So that is about 180, which is good Lord, Sarge, you're a big guy. That is a big old set of weights here. That is very cool. I like that. Apparently, these are also from the Big Boa figure, which also I don't have. But I love these. I would love to get like a little rack for these so I can hang them on. And I would like to see actually more of these if we get them in like different weights, like 10, 20, 30, get them in hundreds. That'd be cool. Here is his Super Warped 8K, which has a removable, what I think is a flashlight attachment. If I look a little closer, I think it's like a flashlight, maybe like a red dot or something. And it just slides into the little slot right here. If we can get that in there really quick, easy, very nice. It is a very dark gray, gunmetal gray color with a little bit, if you can look on the handle and on the grip here, of a little bit of a dark brown. But it is also super warped, so that thing is not going to fire properly at all. But yeah, that's the same one we've seen 100 times before on all sorts of figures. Now this is very cool. This is his duffel bag. This is a very cool, very cool cloth duffel bag, which you can really just about fit anything in there. And I love that he comes with it. I love that it has the USA on here, has the handle on it where he can grab it and hang it from this side. There's the handles here where you can hang it on his back. There's actually a working little tie here, which you can pull, make it a little tighter. A little hard to do that. But you can fit all the accessories in here. You can fit literally all of them, including itty bitty little Sarge. This is the Mad Marauders Sarge figure, which is bigger than the original one that came with the original Sarge figure. As you can see here, the original one is a lot smaller. Figure itself is the same size. It's just the box in the two is a lot bigger. And this one also doesn't stand on its own. It doesn't do that. That one on the left does. I wish it was the same size. I wish it was the same size. I know why it's not, because it's hard to print on that, and also because they wanted to do this. They wanted to give him a little file card and a flag point. I will say it's disappointing that the file card actually is just nothing. There's nothing there. It's just a bunch of lines. I guess it's technically that's Morse code, but it's all repeating, so it would just say the same thing over and over again. The Mad Marauders logo on here, G.I Joe, nice picture of Sarge, the figure itself. This is a different picture, as you can tell, but still looks really cool. I love all the extra work that went to the paint application of this figure because it looks just like a tiny little version of the same one we got. And I love that. So it's very cool. You can take this out as well if you want, so you can grab the figure itself, but I'm just going to leave it in there. Same for this one. So yeah, very cool accessory. And you can, like I said, fit that in the backpack, the little burlap sack, the itty ditty bitty bag, which is very cool, I'd have to say. Now, as for size comparison, here he is next to the original Sarge, which we looked at earlier. Exact same figure, looks the same, different color scheme, but very cool to have two Sergeant Slaughters in my collection now, which I think is very cool. So hopefully we get a third, because I would love to just keep this going. Here he is next to someone with a matching color scheme, and from the same movie he was in. Here he's next to Chuckles, and as you can see, he is a lot taller than your average Joe. He's a lot taller, and he looks very cool too. I love Sarge just being taller than everybody in the group. It's very fitting for some of this cartoony to be the biggest and baddest of all the guys. I like that a lot. Here he is next to my most recent review, and someone from the same line. We have Torch, who they look very cool together. Torch does not like to stand on his own because his backpack is very heavy, but they look very good together, size-wise. Fitting again, he's a little closer in height than Chuckles, but still, Sarge has him. He's still got him, and they both wear cool sunglasses. So, and here he is next to the Stinger driver, who I again have not filmed. I have filmed, but I haven't uploaded the review for the Stinger yet. I'm working on that. Very cool set and very cool figure. I'm a big fan of these generic army builders, so having Sarge beat them up would be very fun and look very good. So yeah, there he is next to the Stinger driver. So there is the Slaughter's Marauders Sergeant Slaughter. Well, I don't know if I can necessarily advise you guys to get him. Oh, see, there he goes down like that. Well, I don't know if I can necessarily advise you guys to pick him up. I can say he's fun. I can definitely say he's a very fun figure. He looks really cool. If you don't have a Sergeant Slaughter, go for it. Why not? Sarge is an important Joe to have, and not having him would feel wrong. But as you can see earlier, there are problems here, which I have, and they are not minor problems, if you ask me. They're fairly reasonable problems, and I hope that Hasbro can get to work fixing them, because they need to. But still, if you liked him, he's on Amazon, he's on Pulse, you can get him fairly easily everywhere. yeah, if you liked them, grab them. If you didn't, let me know down below what you thought, and if you think this is getting out of hand like I do, the accessory problems. But yeah, thank you for sticking to the end of this. I hope you enjoyed the review, regardless if you enjoyed the figure or not. If you did, stick around. I should have a Stinger review and then some other ones up as well I'm working on, and as well as some other stuff probably at some point. It's been a little while since I've been active, but if you do enjoy this, please like, comment, subscribe. Everything needs to get done for me to keep doing these videos that I love to make. And I will see you next time. Yo, Joe.